Hello and welcome to Talk Sports on Global Television, your sports roundup of trending sports stories from across Nigeria and the globe. I am Anita Patrick, and here's what's making the headline in the world of sports as well as Super Eagles as they juggled through the round of 16 in the African Cup of Nations. Before we get into that, Happy New Year and welcome to Talk Sports, where we'll bring you all the lowdown of activities happening in Morocco. Trust me, a beautiful country where Super Eagles is making Nigeria proud, and a lot of excitement because we've gone past the group stage. Now we're at the knockout stage where Super Eagles are doing the best to see that Nigeria have smiles on their faces as a way of saying compensation and thank you for trusting us as we get ahead in the round of 16. And trust me, there's a whole lot lined up for Super Eagles because they've been offered 14 million naira per goal ahead of AFCON round of 16 clash. If I were Super Eagles, I will put on my boots and ensure that I get that 44. If I can get 10 goals, don't forget football is a game of 90 minutes, and who doesn't want to get 40 million naira in his kitty? Trust me, you want to do that, and that's really amazing. But before I give it a I have my guests in the studio with me, Mandy, Yusuf, who will bring the breakdown with me. We'll talk about all these things happening in the world of sport, especially with the ongoing AFCON there in Morocco. I'll bring him up to join us, but I just want to tell you that I have somebody who analyzed this with me. But let's tell you that Nigeria Super Eagles have been promised $10,000, approximately 14 million naira bonus for every goal scored in the African Cup of Nations AFCON round of 16 encounter against Mozambique. The incentive provided by a Nigerian business mogul and team partner applies to Monday's knockout, which is today, fixture at the Fils Stadium in Morocco. The Super Eagles have been in prolific form, scoring 8 goals across their 3 Group C matches in the tournament's first round. The same partner had earlier rewarded the team with $5,000 per goal during the group stage, a bonus structure that has now been doubled for the knockout phase. Chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, confirmed the development while addressing journalists on Sunday in Rabat. According to Diko, on the part of the federal government, President Bola Tinubu approved the AFCON Intervention Fund on November 14th. In addition, he said their partners and sponsors paid $5,000 per goal in the group stage and have now committed $10,000 per goal for the round of 16. The incentives will continue to improve as the tournament progresses. Nigeria who were winners of the AFCON title in 2013, finished top of Group C and will face Mozambique, who placed third in Group F. The round of 16 match is scheduled for 5 p.m. today, Monday, the 5th of January 2026 at the First Stadium. Trust me, Super Eagles are on fire. You need to see them at the training pitch where they're excited also to be. Before I bring my guests to talk about, let's also give you what the National Sports Commission thinks about our coach, that's Eric Chelle, for Nigeria in terms of football history. Well, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has said that the winning of the 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON is the decisive achievement Super Eagles head coach Eric Chelle must attain to secure a lasting legacy in Nigerian football history. Nigeria's senior national team will face Mozambique in the second round of the tournament at the First Stadium, which is today. Although the Super Eagles approach the encounter as 3-time African champions, buoyed by superior form, statistics, and pedigree. Diko has warned against complacency and saying that the media in Rabat, he was making this known to the media in Rabat, where he said Chelle has done well by commending him for the team's performance so far, describing Nigeria's group stage showing as evidence of clear tactical progress under the Franco-Malian coach. Diko said that Chelle has done well up to this point, as well as Nigeria was one of the only 2 teams that won all 3 group stage matches. He further highlighted the team's balanced attacking output as a major strength during the tournament. Before I go further, let me bring my guest to also speak to these issues because I see him nodding. I wanted to just get it out, tell us what he feels about the Super Eagles performance. But let's quickly look at their opponents who they are going to have in, today at 5 p.m. Sunday. What's your thought basically about this Super Eagles form and tactics?
Oh, it's a good thing that we're one of the teams that have had that 100% record throughout the group stage.
Yeah.
The team has been playing well. I think we've been solid at the back, at the midfield, and of course at the attack.
Okay.
Well, but there's one thing that we should know is that yes, on paper, Nigeria might seem to be favorite.
Yeah.
On paper, you expect us to blow in Mozambique, but this is the knockout we're talking about.
Yes.
Okay? There is no room to underrate anything at all. So we just have to just hope the players know that and put their head on the ground. Don't underrate this team. Although on paper we look like we're going to take the game.
Yeah.
But, a very big but. We've seen this before whereby, you know, this is African football we're talking about.
Yes.
We've seen upsets before. But just like I said, on paper you expect us to win this game. And I just hope the players could just don't let them not get ahead of themselves, and I think we'll be all right.
Okay, if the players don't get ahead of themselves, Nigeria would be all right. That's what Mandy is saying that we should put. I remember when the Franco-Malian coach, when they had the last AFCON, before he came to be Nigerian coach, there was a scene where they poured him water on his head. And he was just squatting down at that point, and a lot of talks came in and said, if this coach who they are pouring water on his head is going to be recruited to Nigeria team to man our team, what can he offer? And then he's changing the narrative today.
Well, I won't lie to you. When he came on board, I was a bit skeptical. Not that I judged,
a lot of lashing came out from sporting fans.
Not that I judged him too soon, but when I looked at his CV, it wasn't really eye-catching, and I questioned whether that was what we actually needed at that time. But kudos, he has done well. I think he brought our World Cup qualification back on track. It's a shame we couldn't how that ended, but I think he's done a good job. And our performance in Africa tells you all you need to know. Do I think he might win this competition for us? Well, let's see. But I think kudos to Eric Chelle. He's done a pretty good job. Okay,
kudos to you, coach. And he's saying you've done a good job. We look forward to seeing more of your good job. But this is what the coach is saying. Coach targets victory over Mozambique, and he's saying Super Eagles head coach has reiterated Nigeria's determination to secure victory against Mozambique. Both sides clash in the round of 16 and of the 2025 African Cup of Nations here, which is happening on Monday, which is today. Nigeria, three-time African champions, are one of only two teams to record perfect group stage run at the tournament, winning all three matches. Well, Chelle is keen for his side to sustain that momentum as the competition enters the knockout phase. Addressing journalists during his pre-match press conference, the Malian tactician, like I always like to call them, stressed that the team's immediate focus is solely on overcoming Mozambique and booking a place in the quarterfinals. Chelle said his objective, and as well as that of the team, is to win the next game. If God gives them the opportunity to reach the quarterfinals, then we'll think about that. That's what he's saying. He's looking at the focus. Let's focus on this now. For now, our attention is on Mozambique, and we are determined to win. Yes, there is pressure. Trust me, he's really under pressure, but that is part of the job. He knows that the job comes with a lot of pressure. You need to see him in the play where they're doing the training. He has a lot of pressure on him. At some point, he had to block out the media to say, please just give me time. I'm not saying I can't talk to people, but a lot of pressure. Nigeria needs to win. We need to get this. Looking at where we're coming from, qualifiers to the World Cup, where we had a lot of challenges. We couldn't get the results. It wasn't something he was excited about. And then this time around, he wants to change the narrative and ensure that the Super Eagles get this particular winning and bring the cup home. So what's your thought about his tactics and when he gets to the field of training with the players?
I think his tactics are okay. They're very okay. From the results you can see that we play some very good football. And I really like his training techniques. Okay. When you watch the videos, you can tell that this is a man who actually knows what he's doing. He's done a pretty good job. He's done a pretty good job. Look at. I really enjoy the balance of play. Especially when we play, how our two fullbacks drop to the midfield when we're attacking, and how both of them fall back when we're defending. So I think his tactics has been great. It has been great. But this game, is the real test.
This is the real test. Because this has to do with physicality.
Of course. This is knockout football.
Yeah.
So this is the real test.
Who doesn't stand well will be knocked out.
Will be knocked out. And that's where we'll see it. I think I've been very impressed with his tactics, especially how he plays his two fullbacks.
Okay, the fullbacks are doing well, and then the defenders are not doing badly at all. Even the attackers, they're doing very well from what we've seen so far. And like he's saying, just allow me focus on the game and give Nigeria the needed results in this AFCON. But let's also tell you that the other side, the Mozambique guys are saying we are not intimidated against Nigeria. That's the captain speaking very strong. The Mozambique captain, Domisge, has stated that the Black Mambas are fully aware of the challenge posed by Nigeria ahead of their 2025 Africa Cup of Nations AFCON round of 16 clash, but insists his team is not intimidated. Mozambique will face Super Eagles today with a place in the quarterfinalists at stake. Speaking ahead of the encounter, the captain acknowledged Nigeria's quality. Trust me, he knows Nigeria has the quality and the physical strength, while stressing that his side remains confident and determined to compete. Well, according to the captain, the Nigerian team is very powerful. I like that word. So maybe start clocking it. Like it's powerful, but will not be intimidated by that. They are saying, of course, they want to go there and compete, because football is 90 minutes and anything can happen. The Mozambique skipper also reflected on his journey, or his team's journey to the knockout stage, describing their qualification as a major achievement, but one that has only strengthened their ambition. Everyone is talking tough, Sunday. So, do you think this team are good enough? We can't push away any team. That's one thing I tell everybody. This is football, and like the captain has said, it is football of 90 minutes. We can't say they can't, because they knew what they had to go through at their group stage to get to this knockout stage. So he's saying Nigeria has the strength. Yes, we're going to play. We're not threatened. Do you think they can match our strength?
Well, do I think they can match us? I don't really believe they can. But I think they have nothing to fear.
Really?
You're in the round of 16. But what could go wrong? It's either you win or you go home. So they have nothing to fear. I think they've done pretty well from themselves. If they win, it's going to be a big upset. It's going to be probably the biggest upset in, I would say, AFCON history. If
the Mozambique wins Nigeria.
Oh my God. But just like I said, they have nothing to fear. You're in the round of 16. So what is it? Let the worst happen. I'm not expecting us to push them over. I believe they will give us a run for our money. Okay. I really believe. But on paper, just like I said, I think we'll nick this.
We'll nick this. Okay. I like the fact that Nigerians are confident with what the Super Eagles are doing there in Morocco, and we're saying it's not going to be a walkover. Yes, there'll be a strong fight, there'll be a long push, because like I said, I like African football. The physicality, the strength, the tactics. It's no longer about the club side where you just see play for passion, but this is your country where you need to show passion, show comfortable to that. Well, we look out for the game. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to 5 p.m. I can't wait to sit down and see what Nigeria and Mozambique will be playing there at the First Stadium. Well, there's a little side to all what's happening there in Morocco, where the Tunisia Football Federation Vice President faces CAF sanctions over misconduct against Nigeria. Nigeria seems, from my own conclusion, from what I've seen so far, Nigeria seems to be one of the major teams on fire, and a lot of attention has been drawn from across the countries that have played Nigeria. Don't forget, the Tunisia team played Nigeria at the group stage, and they had their own run. It was a whole of intense, different story entirely. And here we have it now. There's a misconduct that CAF is looking at, because the Tunisia Football Federation Vice President Hussein Denayad is facing potential sanctions following inappropriate conduct during Tunisia's second round match against Nigeria. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, confirmed that its disciplinary committee received a formal C fixture in first Morocco. However, protocol officials provided photographs and testimonies from their 3 witnesses of different nationalities, all confirming a breach of protocol, and no other Tunisian officials sitting was affected. The officials deemed his objection unacceptable. Well, as a result, Denayad was barred from entry in the final ruling from CAF disciplinary committee. Well, some cases where you have events going on, people just want to have that is it power or power play show off at events. Do you need to put that? This is your country playing. The focus should be on the players. should be on the game. What's with I want to sit next to the president?
Oh,
does that make them win?
It doesn't make them win. The story doesn't even make sense to me because I mean, there is a protocol to everything, especially in football. You can't sit next to the CAF president. Well, why? And he's not that he's the vice president of the Tunisian Football Federation. So it's just it's just making,
the president.
Making fun of himself. Like you ask me, he's just making fun of himself.
Oh, this is really not a good one, because apparently he was looking for a front row seat, and now he was totally barred from even seeing his country play against Mali, which is worse.
That would be painful, very painful. I mean,
you're there in Morocco, but you have to go in front of your screen in your hotel room and watch
your country live play. But I really hope he learns his lesson. Because,
I think some people need to know how to manage themselves, find a way of composure is one thing. People need to find a way of getting it straight, and you don't need to give yourself a name that you're not, or display some certain attitude when it's not needed in that kind of place. Because these guys have a local organizing committee that had put in things in place to see that everything is done well, and you can't just go breach protocols and expect yourself not to get sanctioned. Don't forget, there's a governing body who is looking at all of this, and so why would you want to give yourself get yourself into that kind of situation and then look very funny for your country and for yourself? Well, we wish him all the best, that the disciplinary committee will take it lightly with him, if they will, looking at what played out in the course of that, and get him to understand how this plays out. Well, still talking AFCON. Well, a different match played out. Cameroon knocked out South Africa. I saw a video on socials and I saw someone dancing and really having a nice time, saying, "Thank you, Cameroon, for getting South Africa out of the way." And I'm like, what's your problem? What's the problem with everybody wants to win, so why are you celebrating that much? I don't know, but it was what it is, and that was what it was. Five-time African champions Cameroon have ended South Africa's campaign at the ongoing 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco with a 2-1 victory. Despite history favoring Bafana Bafana going into the encounter, it was the indomitable Lions who asserted their authority from the opening exchanges and dominated large spells of the contest. Cameroon took the lead in the first half through Chamat, and then whose composed finish gave his side a deserved advantage heading into the break. Well, Central Africans continued to press after the restart and were rewarded with Kofan doubled the lead in the second half, putting Cameroon firmly in control of the tie. Well, South Africa mounted a late push and pulled a goal back in the 88th minute through evidence. Makobo puts in the effort, proved too little, too late, as Morocco held on to seal qualification. The victory sent Cameroon into the next round of the tournament, while South Africa bow out of the competition, bringing an end to their hopes of lifting the continental title. This is heartbreaking for me.
Yeah, it is.
But you know, the good thing is that the Cameroonian guys have also not taken it easy or played around looking at this game. Like, that's why I like African football. The unexpected always plays out. Something will always come to change. Yes, Cameroons are saying this time around we want to be on. It's always been the home names that we used to coming out strong and changing night. But well, I was hoping that South Africa will get it, but they met their match.
Yeah, they did met their match. And kudos to the Cameroonians. I think they were the better side. If you watch the game, they were the better side.
Okay.
And I'm pretty much, again, I'm a bit happy for Samuel Eto'o, because I mean, before the tournament, he had been facing a lot of backlash due to some of his decisions, especially with the saga of the coach. And but because if they had been knocked out in round of 16, I think the media wouldn't have taken it lightly with him. But I'm so happy that the team were able to make it. They were the better side, just like I said, they were the better side. They dominated South Africa from the midfield, and I was so surprised, because it was like, I looked at it and I was like, why couldn't Nigeria do this? South Africa. They really played well. They were just the better side, and they surprised me, because I don't know why I kind of underrated them, because
did you underrate them?
I thought South Africa,
with all we know about them, Bafana,
they dominated them. They didn't allow the South Africa striker Lea Foster, they didn't give him any breathing space, and of course the goalkeeper that is so hard to beat in Warren Williams, who they argue is the best keeper in Africa. The 2 goals were so classic that he couldn't do anything about it. So I'm really impressed by Cameroon. If they continue playing like this, who knows? Who knows
what happened? Well, we'll bring you the highlights of that match, but let's quickly also tell you that 10-man Mali urged Tunisia on penalties to reach AFCON quarterfinals. That's the interesting thing about AFCON. You just see all the magic playing out, uncertainties just coming to play. Well, the 10-man Mali defied a numerical disadvantage to book their place in the Africa Cup of Nations quarterfinals, beating Tunisia 3-2 on penalties after a dramatic 1-1 draw. The Eagles advanced despite playing more than an hour with 10 men and will now face holders Senegal in the last 8, while Tunisia failed to reach the quarterfinals for just the second time in the last 6 AFCON editions. Oh my, there. It has happened, but that's it. The match began at a frantic and ill-tempered pace, with indiscipline overshadowing attacking quality. The referee Abongili Tom brandished 4 yellow cards in the opening 25th minute before producing a red card for Mali defender Wuyo Kolibri, who went in high on Hannibal Medbri. Well, Kolibri's dismissal meant Mali became the team with the most red cards across the last 3 AFCON tournaments. With 4 sending-offs in the last period, Tunisia dominated possession but struggled to turn control into clear chances. Well, Dira was really troubled before halftime as the Eagles of Carthage failed to test the Mali goalkeeper despite seeing plenty of the ball. The pattern continued after the restart, although Mali began to pose more of a threat on the counter back following the introduction of Nene, that with Fenerbahce forward firing over from distance. Tunisia finally registered the first shot on target when Hannibal's free kick was pushed away by Derrea, who was quickly called into action again to deny Elias Saad's moments later. Well, a lot of the semi-side appeared to have found the breakthrough late on in the closing minutes of normal time. Saad flirted across over the Mali defense, and Amin Chaout was left unmarked to nod into the bottom corner past the helpless Dira. But the Mali side were handed a lifeline deep into stoppage time when Yassini Meril was penalized for handball. Well, a lot of kept happening. The nerve to the slots penalty beyond, where a lot of things played. They played even into the penalty shootout, and this cost even the extra time brought few clear chances. But despite that, with long range efforts, Wales Nation had the ball in the net in the second period, only for Chawat to be ruled offside. There's a whole lot happening with the AFCON game, and I'm really excited because I've seen the group stages from A, B, C to, then get into the knockout stage, and they are doing so well. But the countries where you were expected to do well, are those the countries you're seeing at the knockout stage right now on the round of 16 with what we've seen?
Yeah, they are. But I think this in particular is an upset because Tunisia, going to this guy, they were favorites, and the fact that Mali did it with 10 men makes that even more spectacular. Kudos to the Malians. They really played well. They really played well. And individually, if you rate these 2 teams individually, you see Tunisia is the better side. But the Malians, they put their heart on the field, and with 10 men, I think the last time I saw 10 men playing this good was Chelsea versus Barcelona in 2012, where we all know how that played out. I think kudos to the Malians. If they keep playing like this, they might have something at the end of this tournament. I mean, they were really disciplined especially when they went one man down. They sucked up the pressure, and that's one of the best performances I've seen at this tournament so far. I really hope they can maybe they meet Nigeria here, they can go out, but they are playing like this. I think.
So you think they're going to give Nigeria a run for their money? That's what you see. So do you don't think Nigeria's side is doing very well?
We are doing very well.
But in terms of Mali, you say Nigerians should tighten their boots?
Yes, of course. I think we should worry because, I mean, these guys are playing some fantastic football. They're playing some good football.
Okay.
And sentiment aside, I think if we play them, it's not going to be easy. But the Nigerian in me, of course, I want us to win the game.
I like that. The Nigerian in you wants to win, but it's not going to be an easy run. Nigerians will need to tighten their boots because the Malians will always be Malians. And you're going to give us a tough one. But let's see how that pans out. Let's see what Nigeria Super Eagles will do with the Mozambique today. And then from there, we can see how our strength is standing or how strong we are looking in the groups in the knockout stage as the round of 16. But before we do that, we'll quickly take this quick break. And after the break, we'll give you the few highlights of that game that played out for the South Africans and the Cameroonians. And let's tell you how that panned out and how that was heartbreaking for the South Africans who were really looking forward to lifting the cup again at this AFCON. Please stay with us. It's good to have you back on Talk Sports on Global Television. Well, we're still here. We'll bring you the highlight, like I said, in the course of the program. But let's quickly move our focus and tell you what's happening with the Nigerian Premier Football League. Plateau United turned to Ogunbote in bid to revive MPFL campaign. Plateau United have appointed seasoned coach Benga Ogunbote as their new technical advisor ahead of the second stanza of the 2024-2025 Nigeria Premier Football League MPFL season. Ogunbote takes over from Shola Ayegun, who has parted ways with the club following a series of disappointing results. The decision has been formally communicated to Ayegun and his backroom staff by the club's management. Well, the appointment was confirmed on Sunday morning via social media by just based journalist who said it that Sami Adesoji. Plateau United's move to effect technical change follows an underwhelming overwhelming first half of the season since Ayegun's appointment. At the start of the campaign, the club has struggled for consistency, leading to growing discontent among supporters. Well, a whole lot happening in Nigerian Premier Football League there, where is a grassroots for football. Well, fans' frustration was evident during Plateau United's recent home defeat to Abia Warriors, where supporters displayed placards protesting the team's poor performances. Well, after 19 league matches, the Just Base side currently sits 19 league matches, 19th. Oh God. On the NPFL standards, having recorded 6 wins, 1 draw, 12 defeats to amass just 19 points. Okay, I see the way you're nodding your head. So this is our home base, and that's where we're supposed to have grassroots discovery for Nigerian football to get us into the spotlight. What's your thought basically about our Nigerian Premier Football League? Do you think the first stanza did well for the Just Base side?
For Plateau United, I mean, for a club who was just champions 2 seasons ago, to find yourself 19th, I think it's not encouraging at all. And taking the right decision to part ways with the coach and appointing a very, very experienced person, Ogumbote, who has in the past shown that he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
But he has a huge task ahead of him. Because it's not only to survive relegation now, it's to take the team back to where
it's within days.
The fact that they still half of the season to go.
Yeah.
So there's enough time, and then you agree with me that 19 games is enough for the board to tell the coach, look, there's no more time for excuses.
But it's really sad. 19 days, 19 points. 19 games, 19 points. Is that really not a sad one for them?
It's a sad one. I mean, it's a sad one. That's relegation standard, if you ask me.
Pure relegation, obviously.
19 points in 19 games.
Yeah.
That's probably like 1 point per game.
Yes.
Very poor for a team of that standard, for a team of that with that history. I really hope Ogumbote will turn these things around.
And give them a good reason to smile and see that they're not doing badly when it comes to the Premier League. But for you, how do you see the Premier League? Because we tend to look at that as our basis and to change the narrative of things. This is the Plateau Base side, which, like you said, having a winning team. So what should he be looking out for right now? As I'm talking about the coach who's just coming now, who is set to revive it. That's Ogumbote. Do you think he has the strength to do this?
He speaks for himself. An experienced manager. I really feel he has what it takes. I think he of course, at where he is at his career, he has what it takes to suck up the pressure. I mean, the pressure is much. This is a club that has very, very passionate fans.
Okay.
Very passionate fans. And there's no match day that the stadium isn't.
It's not jam-packed.
That people even watch from outside.
Yeah.
That's how much Plateau United love their club.
Yeah.
I really hope it turns this around.
Okay. We're still talking about the Just Base side. We have some teams speaking tough here, saying that a new chapter for football in Plateau State will soon be open, as the State Football Association has concluded plans to provide technical support for grassroots teams in the state. That should go a long way. But this was disclosed by the state FA chairman, Suleiman Yahya Kwande. It said training materials comprising of match balls, jerseys, training equipment will be distributed to all 17 local government areas in the state. He said this will provide opportunity for youths in the state to showcase their talents. Well, this is one thing that I always clamor for. I always tell people, if you want to give the best of football, or you want to give the best of young talents, looking at youth restiveness and what's happening in the country, this is one place you can take advantage of and give the youth the needed support they need in terms of facilities, right? That happens for young lads who are talented. A lot of them have the talents, but are struggling with platforms to be able to showcase that. But grassroots now is something that the former NFF board is saying coaches, is taking charge, saying coaches in the state registered for the forthcoming technical training course, and of course that should give them an edge to grassroots development. What's the thought basically about that in terms of grassroots discovery?
I think that's a good way to go. I really hope many other states take note of this. This is a very good thing. I think I've been advocating for this for a very long time. I think grassroots football, it needs, in this country as a whole, it needs the development. There are a lot of talents out there. I mean, if we look at, I really feel when it comes to grassroots football, Nigerians have one of the best talents in the world. I'm really, really positive about this. I really hope other states, you know, copy this, because I think this is one of the things that can develop our football. You know, many talents will be picked through this, and if it's for the development of our football, why not?
I think Kwande is also seeing this because he is also currently in Morocco and is back in Super Eagles to beat Mozambique, looking at what that would do to Nigeria's team and Nigeria in terms of their performances globally. Everyone is paying attention to AFCON because that's where coaches from different club sides are looking at for talents who are doing well. But he's also saying this as an opportunity if Nigerians can stand tall. Don't forget that we had a 28-man team put together for the AFCON games, and this also came in from the grassroots coverage from the NPFL to do that. So he's seeing this as an advantage if that is provided for. If there's a whole lot of plans for grassroots, our Super Eagles team can be a formidable force with the players also coming from the league. I agree with that. Because I mean, grassroots football. I mean, there are a lot of players who were discovered through grassroots football, just like that. Even in the past, people like Julius Agahwa, something like it, exactly a story like this from nowhere, and he became a starter in the Nigerian national team. I really hope they get the much needed support, because this would develop our football in a very good way, very good way. I'm really positive about this. I really hope they get the maximum support of course, even the teams like the NFF and, of course, the Ministry of Sport. Okay. Well, so what's your take about the Commissioner of Sports across the state? Because sporting fans will also want to see a narrative. This is 2026, and we're looking out for what should change, what should play out for Nigerians across the Don't forget that just last year we had change of guards across the federation. What should they be looking out for right now? Because a whole lot of narrative needs to. We have competitions coming up across the different federations, different sports. What should they be looking at in 2026 in terms of changing the narrative of what's going to play out for our sports across the fields? Well, first thing we need to do, I think, our facilities need to be upgraded, and of course, I think we should invest more, because I think sports is one of the things that keeps this country together. It should, I think, of course, just like I said, of course, I like what's going on at the National Stadium now. Of course, you see one or two repairs here and there. I think our sporting facilities are not to be. If you check at other African countries, I mean, just look at Morocco, for instance. Yeah, you could tell the difference. The difference is really clear right away. I tell you. And so I really hope our facilities get upgraded to world-class standard, and of course, more competitions like this will go a long way. It will go a long way on discovering talents in grassroots football, grassroots sports as a whole. I just really hope we see the sports management and the National Sports Commission come together and just invest more in sports, because I think sports is just like sports is a gold mine anywhere in the world. Well, sports is a gold mine. That's one area that the federal government has also discovered, and also seen that apart from the oil money we get and other mineral resources, sports is an economy on its own where we can generate funds and bring back the excitement. It brings excitement, it brings bond, it brings unity across all races or ethnicity, even across the globe. It's not just the chairman of Abre Sports Football Club has said that that's Yusuf Abdullahi has charged footballers to take proper dieting seriously. You need to take your dieting seriously. He charged the footballers to take proper dieting, describing it as a crucial aspect of modern football development. That's one place where a lot of people need to footballers or the athletes themselves need to check themselves. Yes, for you to be fit, for you to stay stable, for you to understand what this plays out for you, you need to do proper dieting. That's one thing Yusuf Abdullahi is saying. That's the chairman of Abre Sports Football Club speaking of there. He said, he made this known during his chats with the media, where he said that the demands for contemporary football should go beyond training on the pitch. stressing that nutrition now plays a vital role in the life of players, in their performance and overall development. If you understand what diet does, like I always say, the human body is one place you cannot play with. What you eat reflects how you are or how you stand in a. I don't know if you're buying into this idea, Mandy.
I do, of course I do. I mean, proper dieting is why someone like Cristiano Ronaldo at 40 years old is as fit as he is. And of course, as a sports person, of course, your diet is very key to your development.
Yeah.
It's a good way to go. I think every sports person should take his diet seriously, and you don't eat anything, you don't avoid junk food and all sorts. It's a good way to go. I really hope all the teams actually look at what their players eat, because it affects the way you perform on the pitch of play.
Okay, so while we look at that, where he's looking at the pitch of play and seeing what that's going, let's quickly give you this particular story. Well, this was on a sad note where Anthony Joshua had to lose two of his close friends. That I know this was really heartbreaking for a lot of Nigerians, but Anthony Joshua has actually broken his silence after the crash that killed two of his close friends. The former world heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua has broken his silence following a fatal car accident in Nigeria that claimed the lives of two of his closest friends and team members. Well, the 36-year-old made his first public comments since the crash in a brief but emotional social media post on Sunday, where he was sharing a photograph of himself with the families of the deceased Shino Gami and Lateef Lads, that's Ayodele. The post marked Joshua's first acknowledgement of the tragedy, offering a quiet show of support and solidarity rather than a detailed statement. Well, the accident occurred Monday, December 29th on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway when the SUV carrying Joshua and three others collided with a stationary truck, reportedly due to brake failure. Gami and Ayodele died at the scene. Joshua narrowly escaped death after switching from the front passenger seat to the back seat shortly before the impact, a decision said to have been prompted by concerns that his size was obstructing the driver's view. Can you see how, I don't know how to put this, but there's a way God works his way, Mandy. I don't know. There's something about, I always tell people, there's always a prompting that comes to you if you are being directed, I always tell people, try to get these instincts that tells you things, because he also would have been dead today. It could come as an inconvenience. It could come as a decision, or a guy, someone tells you, leave that place at the point. If you can listen, it happens. But who knows? He just said as an inconvenience that this was an inconvenience in the driver. Let me switch my seat and look at how it plays out. Look, I saw a graphical illustration of the sitting arrangements, how they were in the SUV, where the driver was on this side, had the passenger seat where one of his friends was sitting, and the other one was behind, and he was behind the driver. And then how the car hit the stationary truck, where it was head on, to it, and you saw how the crash went in there. It was just the passenger seat by the driver and the one behind, and it just took them instantly. You could tell that this could be straight onto the head. It could be lead to internal bleeding. I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. I'm just using my own initiative to look at how this had played out. And this, for you, how do you see? Because we're all praying for Joshua and then Joshua to get back. Because this one who had his match, he fought on the 19th and won his match, and everyone was excited for him. And this is what he's getting as a way to round up the year. I'm sure he was coming home to celebrate his family, say, I got this. All my effort was not in vain, but this is one that has weighed him down. He's going to go down memory lane. What's your take basically about this whole thing?
It's a very, very unfortunate incident. Condolences to the families of the deceased. I think he's a lucky person. He's a lucky person.
He is.
You look at the vehicle, at first I didn't believe anybody would survive inside because the car was messed up. And it was a very, very, very sad thing. When people were pulling him out of the vehicle, you could see that he was clearly in much pain. But very, very sad, very sad, very sad, very sad thing. I really hope, there are rumors that he may never box again. I really hope that's not true. But I really hope emotionally he gets, he's okay. He visited the family of the deceased just a couple of days ago. So, well, he's a lucky man. That's just all I have to say. He's a lucky man.
Well, that's a whole lot that he's a lucky man, because he could be lucky that it could be a word that he's lucky, but at the same time, is it psychologically stable? Because this is one thing that Nigerians are praying for him. He could go through the scenario. He sustained leg fracture, but was reported to be in a stable condition and did not require emergency medical intervention. Joshua was discharged from the hospital on the New Year's Eve and returned to the United Kingdom the Saturday. Well, the boxer traveled to Nigeria for the holiday, which we all knew, in his recent knockout victory over Jake Paul. Both victims are expected to be laid to rest later on Sunday as tributes continue to point for the men, described as close companions and trusted members of Joshua's inner circle. You know, for me, I'm looking at the psychological impacts on Anthony Joshua. These people who have been part of your system, part of you, understand your tactics, your strengths, your weaknesses. They've been the one who can walk you through issues. And now these guys are no longer with you. How do you even stand the test of time? One, he needs to get his mindset. He needs to get his mind cleaned off of the pain. It's one, people don't understand the depth of losing somebody until it happens close to you. And then you now know the pain of it. So for you, what do you think he needs at this moment? Therapy, psychology, a psychologist to be around him, or what? Can he sustain his passion? Will he want to do this to keep his friends' memories alive? Those are questions that should be asked, basically.
Of course, psychologically, I mean, it's going to affect him. It's going to really affect him. And these are not just distant friends. These are two of his closest colleagues. I mean, the fact that they were in Nigeria with him tells you of how close they were. Of course, I think he needs to take some time off, just like you've just said, and psychology, some therapy would be great for him at this moment. But I'd say just give yourself like a year.
Should go on break?
And just because the effects are there. I mean, there are some injuries, and psychologically and physically, he's not all right presently. So I just say take maybe till the end of the year or the beginning of next year, then you get back in the ring. But I think it's a psychological treatment is needed here.
Okay, well, psychological treatment needed there, and then there's a whole lot of strength that he needs support, he needs love. People find a way of talking about these issues and not just, because I was worried that when he gets back to the UK, how is he going to deal with same environment, same places, everywhere that he's had his friends move around with him? How is he going to navigate through all of that? That's what I was having a concern about, and I hope that he has enough strength to pull through this particular phase of his life, because like I always tell people, life is in phases. Anything can come to you. It's just for the inner strength to pull through, and we hope that he pulls through this particular phase of his life, that it's not weigh him down. He will be able to carry on the legacy if he can, but I'm just saying that he should not be rushed. He should be given time to heal, because when healing occurs, it's easier to give the best of you when healing occurs. But when healing does not occur, it's going to be a whole lot of struggle when people will just want to see the best, but you might not be able to give out your best because you're dealing with a whole lot happening. Well, it's been a whole lot on Talk Sports. I don't know. So Mandy was going to talk to me about what's happening in the EPL. He has version of the story, and I'm just like, what's the excitement about? What's happening for you? You are a club person and you like all of that.
Well, just the Chelsea scenario. As a Chelsea fan, of course.
Yeah.
With the manager, Enzo Maresca, parted company last week with Chelsea because of a lot of internal issues and the rest. And of course, the person that's coming on board, and person of Liam Senior, personally. When I look at his CV, I don't really think that's what man can take Chelsea anywhere to do.
You don't think that's what Chelsea needs at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think that's what Chelsea needs at the moment. I mean, they are managers with better CV, if you ask me. But again,
is that about the CV? I always ask that. Is that about the CV when it comes to coaches, or is this what they can bring to the table?
For a top club like this, I mean, your CV matters. But again, there's the issue of who can work with the board, because from sources, our reliable sources will tell you that the Chelsea board is a very, very difficult board to work with, and these are people who want things to be done their own way and the rest. And so I think they need a coach who would listen to them at all times.
Okay.
A kind of yes sir person.
Okay,
and
well.
That's why maybe they've gone for Liam Mousinho. As a Chelsea fan, I wish him all the best. Because it seems like he's the man who's going to take the job.
Okay, you know why I'm smiling and saying okay to use it? Because I remember the days of Jose Mourinho and he gave it to them. You know, he just had his own way of dealing with them. If you like, this is my own way, I do my thing. Like, he just leaves when you tell him to leave, and because he knows that he has a good CV and he can do well for himself. Well, that's it. So stay with us on Talk Sports and Global Station. Thank you so much, Mandy, for coming through and always talking sport with us. You know, thank you. Always an amazing. We look forward to an amazing year, of course, in the world of sports. Well, that's it on Talk Sports on Global Television for exclusive updates, interviews, and behind-the-scenes access as we follow the stories and more. This is where we draw the curtain on the program, whether it's on the pitch, on the track, or on the court. Talk Sports has got you covered. Don't forget that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. To stay connected, kindly follow us across all our social media platforms showing on your screen using at Global TV NG. I am Aniti Patrick. Have a lovely day ahead of you.